Hello and welcome back to the sideboard here at SCGDAL. And when I was watching the top tables, the XOs, the X1s, I came across a deck and I saw a Witch Stalker with madcap skills on it. I was intrigued, and so I wanted to talk to the man responsible for such an abomination, and that is Brad Ogden of Lufkin, Texas. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good, and you are X1 currently with a Naya Hexproof deck.
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about where this deck came from.
Basically, I mean, the idea spurs from the band Hexproof deck, of course. We tried that idea at first and just didn't think we had the power level within the card still. So with, I mean, madcap skills and the field being real aggressive, I mean, it's hard for like the red decks and the mono black devotion decks to kill either one of these by themselves.
Right, so you're talking about the main things we're putting enchantments on are, of course, Witch Stalker, which is the main big beater of the deck, and also Fiendslayer Paladin has pseudo hexproof against a lot of the field. A lot of people are playing red here with the popularity of the various types of mono red aggro that are available, as well as the mono black deck can't target it at all, and the other decks can't really deal with it very easily either, being a 2/2 first striker in combat, even if it doesn't have any enchantments on it. Very difficult to deal with.
I mean, mine is having like double Devour Flesh, or like me laying Elvish Mystic and leaving one of my guys open, them having double like Doomblade and Devour Flesh is really hard to get around it.
Yeah,
and then you push out an Anger Rage in the board white range, and it's just hard to catch up like the whole
Now you also have a split of Elvish Mystics and Glade Cover Scouts just to have a couple more hexproof targets in the deck to be able to get up to the full 10. You've also got Voice of Resurgence, another card that helps combat, Devour Flesh, but those are just sort of the fill-in pieces to keep things alive. The way we're killing people is, of course, with auras. We've got some very exciting auras in this deck. Of course, Madcap Skills is probably the most surprising for people at home in a hexproof strategy. People are seeing it in the red decks, of course. And then you've got Ethereal Armor and Unflinching Courage backing it up.
Yep, and Chain to the Rocks.
Of course.
Good synergy there.
Yes,
I love it.
It itself is also an aura, so it's able to pump your ethereal armors and take out troublesome blockers. So that's mostly to just be able to take out things like Loxodon Smiter, things that could trade in combat.
Loxodon Smiters, your Desecration Demons. A lot of these guys, they'll with the black decks or turn 4, they'll jam their big fatty and you take it out the way and just swing through. It's just to move something out the way, and that along with Madcap Skills, like they could have 3 creatures out and stacked up on a Fiendslayer, they're not going anywhere.
Absolutely. And some of the other things that combine well with your auras that aren't themselves auras are your double strike enablers. So we've got 2 ways to give double strike in this deck. We have Boros Charm, and we have Ajani Caller of the Pride. Ajani is a card that hasn't really gotten its due yet. It hasn't really had its day in the sun yet, and I think that it's a lot better than the amount of play that it's gotten since it's been in Standard over a year ago.
Yes.
Talk to me about how good Ajani is in this deck.
Ajani, basically, besides the fact of like when you've been peeling down their life, you got them at 5 or 10, you could just combo kill them out of nowhere. It turns like a 7 or an 8 into evasive, flying, and double strike. Ajani is really good. It lets me put counters. It turns these guys into suitable threats.
Yeah, it makes Glade Cover Scouts 2/2s.
Yeah, basically it's a catalyst for the deck. And I was trying some other things, but like the more I tried in Boros Charm spot, the less every other card appealed to me. It's just good all the way around.
So yeah, let's talk about Boros Charm next, your other double strike enabler. This card doesn't really have a deal 4 on it because you always have, it seems, 5 power or more. Or you're gaining life with your Fiendslayer Paladin, so you want to deal 4 that way. But perhaps the most important mode is Protection from Supreme Verdict, which is the only real answer to a bunch of hexproof creatures a lot of the time, or Anger of the Gods, things like that.
Yes, definitely.
And so you're most often using it as a way to counter a spell like Anger of the Gods?
I have. I've also used it in response to a, what's the one, Peak Eruption.
Oh,
tried
sure.
to destroy my mountain.
Wow.
When I had this on. Yeah.
When you have Chain of Rocks on your mountain and he tries to Peak Eruption your mountain, you made it indestructible with Boros Charm. That's a pretty good interaction. Important to remember, Boros Charm gives all your permanents protection. So if they try to Hero's Downfall your Ajani, for example, you can play Boros Charm. It's a pretty good interaction.
Or Ultimate a Sorin on you. That's pretty good. That's pretty good too.
There you go. In the sideboard, we have a different hexproof creature against the mono blue deck, which is Mistcutter Hydra, which we've seen out of a lot of decks, but in this deck is particularly difficult for opponents to deal with because Lifelink on Unflinching Courage is just pretty much an impossible thing to race.
Yes, there's no way they can deal with it, especially the decks you're bringing in against. Like, even like if you're not worried about counter spells, the Mono Blue Devotion deck, if you play that card at 3 or at 2 and stack an enchantment on it, there's no way they can win the game.
Yeah, the fact that you can play a 1/1 Mistcutter Hydra against that deck with this deck, because you can just immediately put Unflinching Courage or Ethereal Armor on it, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been really good. I've only had one control matchup, is red, white, blue, and I brought it in, and he thought it, like, Azorius charms are gone, and especially after board, when they see all this, they're just not ready. It throws them off. It's a new angle.
Sure. And so, speaking of your matchups, you said you had one loss today, and the one loss was to red because you didn't put shocks in your sideboard. So if people were playing this deck going forward, they would want to have shock.
Yes, it's almost, it's not overkill, but it helps the matchup a lot more, especially when like 60% of the field is that deck or a variant of that deck. And basically, I mean, on myself, I kept with Fleece Mane and Voice of Resurgence, we can just get you there, but I kept Sacred Foundry and Mutavault, and never got there. So
yeah, absolutely. The other interaction you mentioned, Mutavault. A Johnny Call over the Pride is able to build up a Mutavault, yes, and that's Supreme Verdict proof, which is another way to combat that.
Most
deck.
Definitely.
Well, this deck looks awesome. It looks like a ton of fun to play, and good luck going forward. Thank you so much for joining me in the sideboard.
Appreciate it, man.
And we'll be right back here at SCG Dallas.